Dave and I worked with Polygon Pictures on another series a few years back. It was my first experience with them. I think it was your first experience with them. And you actually had done something with them as well.
I worked with them on a short that they did, that they produced it. I line produced it with them.
So when we started talking internally about the fact that we wanted this new show, Prime, to be all CG, you make up a list of studios that are worth considering, and all of us put Polygon at the top of our list.
Yeah. Mostly when you work on an American production and you work with an overseas studio for the animation part, it is kind of a work for hire. You just send them all the materials and they're paid to do the work, and of course they work hard. But with Polygon, we really wanted them partnered up with us on this. And at the moment where they get to the place of understanding we really mean what we're saying, then they start bringing, that extra nuance to the table.
Let's get this party started.
It actually took us a little while to convince them when we said we wanted to empower them, when we said we wanted them to be an equal partner, we wanted them to weigh in and help us solve problems. Most studios are not used to hearing that from the American companies.
Yeah.
So, and we meant it because we really felt like the only way we were going to succeed with all the things that this show needed to be and the time we had was if we had another partner overseas really helping us figure it out. So it all starts with the script. I mean, before that starts with the premise and the outline, but when we get to script and we have a final script, we then do the record with the cast all in the same room.
I do not understand. Why am I not one with the Allspark?
From there, we go into our storyboard stage, taking that script, choreographing all the action to the best we can. We take that storyboards, we build an animatic, and we get the timing, we figure out the timing, just to make sure we're getting to where we want to be. We don't want somebody to animate a lot of extra footage and then have to just throw it away. That's not fair to anyone. So we get it pretty close to time, and then it goes to Polygon. A lot of times you want that other studio to do exactly what's on there, so there's no mistake. But in this, sometimes we've left things a little vague in certain aspects, mainly a lot in the action. We all wanted to give them the room to improve upon and make things work and not just do what we say, because we don't have the same knowledge they do on certain things and vice versa.
I will not be so easy to deliver into oblivion.
At the beginning, we're doing a lot of Skype, face-to-face. There is a language barrier, and it's great. My counterpart over there, Hayashi-san, we talk with our hands a lot. We'd have some translators trying to communicate for us, and then we just realized, forget it. We do show the cameras here, we do this, and it's like, yeah, we know, that's it, forget it, translator. We know exactly how to communicate that way. And so after a while, we're just kind of doing emails back and forth, but on a daily basis, they're sending us footage. I'm looking at the footage, making comments, and it really is a back and forth. With a 2D show, you can kind of cheat things in a shot. But with a 3D show, even though those things aren't really there, they work in a practical sense. You have a character and he's there. So they still have to work out that choreography, and it still has to practically make sense as if it was live action. If not, the whole scene kind of falls apart. So that's where we would leave things vague sometimes, because here's the concept, but just because we draw it doesn't mean that it practically is going to work that way. I don't want to shortchange our work as well, because we do go through a lot of kind of engineering these things and making sure the transformation is going to work, but it still has to work practically. There's always catches that don't translate into the 3D world.
We are transformers, and that's a huge challenge for any studio to take on. Our side of the equation and Polygon side of the equation, like Dave said, there's an engineering aspect to this, and I don't think artists, when they go into animation, expect that they're going to have to figure out all these kind of gears, where the parts go, and how to make it into a vehicle that's an operable vehicle. And Polygon took what we started, and they go to that challenge of figuring out, because they have to build it into the CG animation, and they have to make it work on camera.
Approach with caution.
Hayashi-san, I remember, sent us a video showing where he built Predacons basically out of paper, and it's basically origami, showing us how this thing is going to move. And what's great about that is we can look, and it's like subtle things, like the wing flap. Do we want it, a bat, or is it a big, flowing eagle or whatever? And just being able to look at that and go, there, that's the tempo we want on the wings. And as simple as that is, it changes the character completely, how the character reacts to certain things.
I am not your boss. I am your king.
They'll take their time to decide that even though we boarded it a certain way, they might go slow-mo because they really want you to appreciate the work that they did. And it pays off. It really pays off. Let me
give you an example of something they did that just had everybody on our end just rolling on the floor, and we had to make sure it went on. I believe it was second season. There's this great part where Starscream is having a memory, and he's talking to the crew, and he's like, hey, who's your new leader? I can't hear you. They did this thing where Starscream's doing this like hip thrust. That's like, and that was just all them, and we saw that, and we're like, can we do this? This is really funny, this is great. But we kept it and made it into the show, but that was all them, and it really made that a standout shot for me.
One more time! All hail Starscream!
This is going to be juicy.
All hail Starscream!
Looking at all their stuff and our past work with them, this, for me personally, I think the strongest thing besides a beautiful picture, besides great people to work with, I really think their acting that they bring to the characters is some of the most phenomenal acting I've seen. They bring little nuances that's just fantastic.
And I actually think that's maybe the key. We tend to play most of what we do pretty real. We don't treat the voices. We don't do a lot of cartoony stuff. And they're able to find subtle little things in performance and body language, expression that communicates what we want to have communicated, but doesn't do it in a big squash and stretch way.
The very survival of our species upon this, or any world, depends upon it.
Every year at the end of every season, they have a wrap party. And I've never worked on a show where the overseas studio says, we're having a party and we want you to do a video of your crew to, be at our party. And we just did that a few days ago for their wrap party. And it's just kind of funny that we're invited into their house, so to speak.
What was it, 6 of us went over that first year and spent about a week with them, just meeting the crew and kind of having face-to-face conversations and talking about what we wanted, what they thought was possible, and really going back and forth. And then
we went to Hawaii.
We went to Hawaii together. We decided that was kind of in the middle of between Tokyo and Los Angeles. So they had about 20 people come out, and we had a group of our people come out. We met there and spent just 3 days together socially, and everybody paid for their own way. But it was just after 3 years of working together and the way we had worked together, people wanted to meet each other. Like you'd spend a lot of time with these people on Skype or on phone calls and emails, but you hadn't actually been able to spend time face to face. So we became that close as sister studios that we actually wanted to spend vacation time together. One of the other, maybe it's a small thing that we take for granted, but we've been lucky enough to win some Emmys and get nominated for a bunch of Emmys over the 3 years so far. And it was never a question for us that we were going to invite Polygon to come to the Emmy ceremony with us. And the year we won the Special Class Animated Series, Shuzo was here and came up on stage. And in retrospect, I've heard from people that that's unusual, that why would you have your overseas studio come up on, but for us it was, well, of course they're going to come up. Of course they're going to be represented. And then this past year, actually, one of their artists won an individual Emmy, and came overseas and for the award ceremony. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
It was.
Probably how did Arato finish his acceptance speech?
Domo arigato?
Mr. Atobato. Domo arigato, Mr. Atobato.
I think, look, our desire is to work with them forever. And I think if you asked them, they would say the same thing. I think this was the best experience they've had, especially working with an American studio.
They're doing a big job, and being actually invested in the characters just as much as we are is always going to give you better work than just a work for hire where you're looking at a deadline.
It's a different experience to be able to have a partner overseas than being kind of just the big boss. It just put it on a whole nother level, and it shows on screen completely.
We really wanted Polygon, and we got what we asked for, and even more. We got more than we ever could have imagined.